Hey guys, I'm going to show you like 3 or 4 of my favorite exercises to wake up and warm up and strengthen the muscles in the back of the shoulder. As you guys probably know, a lot of traditional asana has a lot of work and a lot of strengthening in the pushing muscles, pec, anterior deltoid, and triceps, and very little work in strengthening and using the pulling muscles, posterior deltoid, rotator cuff, etc. And so those muscles I find in people are often, if not weak, kind of sleepy. So I like to do several different exercises at the beginning of practice just to wake those up and warm those up. Some of my students, my private students in particular, used to be very weak in their rotator cuff muscles in particular. And doing these exercises has made them much stronger. And that's been really good overall for just how they feel in their body moving out through their day, and also for the way their arms hang down from their body. So if you're really overdeveloped and the muscles in the front of the chest and shoulder, your arms kind of hang forward. And as we continue to strengthen the muscles in the back of the shoulder, the arms kind of sit more in the center of their socket, more kind of alongside the body. And that's been nice as well. So let's see, I'll show you the one with the weights first because I have my blankets all set up here. This is something, by the way, I do with a lot of my private clients, which is kind of easy to incorporate things with weights. And I also do this in my group yoga classes at my yoga studio, and my students love this exercise. So you need several blankets for underneath the head. And then in my body, I need a little blanket for underneath my ribs. Not everybody needs that, but I'll show you. So I'm going to face you. So several blankets for under the head, and then I need a little blanket for underneath my ribs, because if I took this blanket away, just the way I'm organized right now, my ribs would like sink to the floor, and there would be this big concave here around my ribs. Some people don't need the blanket under the, I can show you what it looks like. So see, there's a lot of sinking here, and any work that I do in the shoulder is going to be compromised. Some people don't need a blanket under their ribs, but they need it on the top here. So if you're doing this with your private clients, you can really take the time to play with this and figure this out. So once you get people organized, it's really important. A lot of people, when they get here, will kind of like curl into a fetal position. But then we're going to do our shoulder strengthening with forward head position, which we don't want. So the back of the head in line with the sacrum. Arms nice and long. And then you can, of course, do this without weights and then add load as people get stronger. Arms stay straight. Just lift the arm up on the breath in and lower down with control. And this is getting all the muscles that are around the shoulder blade. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, lower down. And I usually do 10 of those with no weight or a light weight, and then 5 or 10 more either with weight or a slightly heavier weight. This is 5 pounds. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, lower down. And it's quite a lot of work. And then I do the same kind of setup, either no weight or just a light weight, to start with the elbow bend. Lift up on the breath in and lower down on the breath out. 10 with a light weight, and then 5 or 10 with a heavier weight. And my students, when we do this in a group class, love this work. They feel like it's made being in downward dog so much easier. They feel a lot more freedom in their neck and their shoulders because they have the strength to find that external rotation in the shoulder, so they're not collapsing into their wrist or, crunching up in the neck. And they can have a really spacious, broad, wide, open, downward-facing dog. I can show you what that looks like in a minute. So those are the exercises I do with weights. Do them on both sides. Really easy. I will start vinyasa practice like that sometimes. I have a few of my private students that do something like that every week. And then here's another one. And this one is even simpler because you don't need weights and you don't even really need props. You can do it with props, but you don't have to. And this one, and this is sort of borrowing from some FRC stuff, which we might talk about more here on the podcast soon. So you can use a block. I'm going to actually show it without to start. Just lay down Make sure people are organized and everything is comfortable. I like to set my hand up like this, but you can really do anything that you want. When I do prone work with my students, especially if it's strengthening for the whole posterior chain, I will recommend that people move their head and their shoulder and their arm and their neck as often as they need to so it doesn't get uncomfortable. So the first one just starts like this. Press the hand into the floor. So I'm pressing, engaging some of the pushing muscles, the inner arm line, pec, push on the breath in, and lift up on the breath out. Push down on the inhale, and lift up on the exhale. So push down on the breath in and lift up on the breath out 10 times. Same idea, bent at a 90-degree angle. Now this one, if people have a lot of mobility in this part of their shoulder, you could do it lifted up on a prop like this, but it's really interesting for a lot of people just flat. Same idea. Push down on the breath in and lift just the upper arm up, or the forearm, on the breath out. Like this. Push down with the hand on the inhale and lift up on the exhale. And push down on the breath in and lift up on a breath out. What you'll see a lot is that people really start using all the extensors in their wrist and their hand gets like this because it's hard to do, which isn't inherently dangerous, but I think it does make it, they're recruiting all these other muscles when what we want them to recruit are their shoulder muscles. So I really try to get people to have long wrist, long fingers. Some people really struggle with this. It's interesting. But we keep working on it. So again, press down on the inhale. Lift up. See, I'm much weaker on this side on the exhale. Press down on the breath in. Lift up on the breath out. And it's been great. It's really been, like I said, helping my students stronger, more mobile, much more comfortable in downward facing dog in any pose where they're weight bearing on the hands and on the arms. We tell them to externally rotate at the shoulders, but they don't have the strength to externally rotate at their shoulders. So those are the exercises. With weight, with the arm on the side body, arm straight, arm bent, fully prone, slightly different, press into the floor, lift away from the floor 10 times, arm straight, and elbow bent at 90 degrees. So let me know if that makes sense, what questions you have. If you have questions about doing this kind of work with private clients or sneaking this kind of work into vinyasa classes, let me know. I am doing that a lot these days, so I have a lot of thoughts about that and would love to continue the conversation. Okay, bye for now.